Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Q&As. So let's go ahead and get this started. All right, first question. What's a good protein goal to hit for recomping? 1 gram per pound or more? Do you want the bro answer or do you want the scientific answer? The bro answer, well, you know, if you give yourself some wiggle room. Okay. What about someone who has an insane appetite? Maybe a little more protein would help with satiety. Particularly if we're going to run like a lower fat diet, which works really, really well for recomping for people with high appetites because we can load up on carbs. We don't have problems eating enough carbs. That's usually why high fat diets work for bulking, by the way. Skinny guys can't eat. They need the fat calories for the higher caloric density. So let's come over to the scientific answer. What is the answer looking at hard training athletes? Multiple studies, numerous studies. This isn't just 1 or 2 studies, and this isn't looking at just untrained novice lifters. This is looking at stuff like college athletes who lift. In some cases, bodybuilders were chosen, people who identified as bodybuilders. Some cases, natural bodybuilders were chosen. So we have pretty good studies looking at muscle growth and protein. What's the cap that they found in which muscle growth was facilitated? 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight. Well, let me give you the math there. If you weigh 100 kilos, that's 220 pounds. That's 160 grams of protein. That is the upper threshold. Going beyond that has not been found in studies for even hard training athletes, lifters, bodybuilders, to produce further muscle growth. Okay, our opinion on that is irrelevant. Our anecdote on that's irrelevant. That is what the literature shows. Accordingly, I would recommend you aim for that. Now, people say, but Jason, that's in a calorie surplus. Well, if you're able to recomposition, you already have a small calorie surplus in your body. Lean people can't recomposition. Okay, let's make that clear also. If you're lean, you cannot recomposition. If you're 12% body fat, you're not going to recomp without anabolics. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to bulk. So I'm assuming you're above 15% body fat. Possibly up at 20%, possibly more. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking me about recomping. If you're much leaner than that and you're asking me about recomping, you're wasting your time. You need to lean bulk. Okay? Lean bulk, clean bulk, whatever you want to call it, but you need to bulk. So, all the other data we have going higher than that is for what? People who are lean and in a calorie deficit, preserving muscle. We're not talking about gaining muscle at that point. We're talking about preserving it. Why? Because when lean people lose body fat, they lose muscle. Let's come back over to that thing about being lean. A lot of people have a goal to get lean. That's great. If your goal is to get lean, then fine, get lean. But understand, when you're in now the position of being lean, a whole lot of stuff changes. Whole lot of things change. You can't recomposition anymore. You're already lean. When you start cutting body fat, you're already lean. You're going to lose muscle. Those studies are looking at people who are like 10% or lower body fat who are losing more weight on purpose. Now, why a sane person would do that is beyond me. People say, what about contest prep? Notice I said a sane person. If you do physique competitions, you're probably not sane. No reasonable person is going to do that because it's temporary. You won't be able to sustain it. Okay? You're just temporarily cutting down. You're going to lose muscle. You're going to lose muscle. It is going to happen. Higher protein intakes than what I recommended have been found to be very helpful in preserving that muscle to a reasonable degree. It's not 100% preservation, but it helps. But we're not dealing with that. We're dealing with recomping with plenty of calories. You're not losing weight. Right? It ends up being about 0.82 grams per pound of body weight is what 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight is. There's your target. All right, next question. Hi, Coach. Since I miss max benches most of the time a few inches off the chest, and my band bench is much stronger, 1 rep max is 80 kilograms plus 25 kilograms of band, while regular bench is 90 kilos. Okay, I'll agree on that latter point. I wouldn't say much stronger. Okay, I wouldn't say much stronger. I would say slightly stronger with the band. Usually it's about a 50-50 disparity. In other words, the gap between your raw versus your bands should be about half of the band weight on average if you're fast. So you're a little stronger than that on the bands. I suspect my chest is the weak point. What supplemental lift can you recommend? I know you usually recommend dips or dumbbell incline, but I don't have those at my home gym. I have a football bar and already do closed grip bench press. No, I don't recommend incline dumbbells for that. I mean, dips are something I recommend. Incline dumbbells is for people who need a combination of more shoulder with a little more chest. All right? Let's make that clear. This is not my recommendation for a chest weakness on the bench. Okay. Floor press. Floor press is your go-to. Dumbbell flat presses, dumbbell decline presses are also really, really good here. Weighted dips are really good here. If someone I have a lifter who has a really serious chest weakness, I usually combine the dumbbell presses and the floor press in 2 separate lifts. I'll have them do both every week. Okay, so floor press. You can alternate your football bar with the straight bar, but do floor pressing. You also probably need more lats and upper back. For weak off the chest, it may not be just your pecs, it could be lats. You need more lats. Now, you're going to have ask clients who chime in, well, the lats, that's a myth. That's a myth. The lats don't actually contract on the bench press. They get compressed by your arms. Inflated lat syndrome, having real lats to create that real inflated lat syndrome will pop you out of the bottom of the bench. Because you can use your lats to start pushing. You can push on your arms with the lats. It is ridiculous when guys say that. They're looking at this whole ridiculous model of the skeletal muscle structure, and they're only thinking in terms of the primary movers without thinking about stabilizers or how other muscles can press against your body. You do know when your arms press against different parts of your body, it can affect your lifts too, right? You know that if you can mess your deadlift up by your knees or thighs pressing against your arms on the deadlift. Okay, right? Your lats can help you at the bottom of the bench. So in your case, floor press, tons of floor pressing, more lat work, more rows. There's your solution. And more speed bench. You are speed benching, right? You tell me you're not speed benching and you're low off the chest, and we have another problem completely too, don't we? Fix it. All right. Next question and last question of the week. Hi, Jason. As someone who doesn't follow a structured program and with less than 2 years of training, would you advise adding working sets bi-weekly, assuming performance increase and limited soreness, to prepare the body for higher volume training than deloading at MRV? Basically, Mike Israetel's linear periodization for volume. Your novice program is pretty low volume. My novice program is ultra high volume. What? My original one is ultra high volume. The one I released because the other one was too high volume is low volume, right? So if you need more volume, you could add some extra supplemental work. Problem solved. Problem solved. So you can increase your body's ability for higher volume training by doing GPP. I mean, sure, we could talk about some of this from a training perspective. Yes, you have certain exercises you could benefit early on from doing some really high reps with. Things like good mornings, right? Hyperextensions. But good mornings, real high on that list. Want to build the work capacity of your low back? Yeah, all of that. But if you want to build your overall work capacity and recovery, GPP work. Yeah, do some barbell complexes, some sled drag, some prowler work. Okay, Metcon work. That will increase your capacity for higher training volumes. Okay, that'll do it. I would recommend you do that. recommend you do that. Start doing some really high rep good mornings throwing. If you want to run the 2.0 and you're worried about work capacity, high rep good mornings, and then do GPP work, which is general physical preparedness. That will resolve this issue. Alright guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.